Welcome, Facebook Live. How's everybody doing tonight? So I am Joe, your Libertarian candidate for Congressional District 1 of the state of Idaho. Yes. And we are doing absolutely awesome this week. We've had some amazing milestones set this year so far. We've made it to the debates. We've been involved in several town halls. We've had conversations. Jo Jorgensen made 2 visits to the state of Idaho. I swear that's got to be a record as far as libertarian presidential candidates. We did the one right over here in Meridian not that long ago. And the next night we did another one over in Idaho Falls, which was absolutely awesome. So this week, tomorrow night, yes, please, if you can make it, lounge at the end of the universe. We are doing a celebration. Yes, it is a celebration. Because this has been an absolutely awesome year as far as libertarians in the state of Idaho has gone. A lot of amazing things have happened. A lot of opportunities, a lot of doors have opened up. Special thanks to Jenny Emmelhoff and her husband. Their contributions during the last 2 months, of course, have been incredible as far as getting out and helping spread the word, getting literature in, getting signs in. Her work on the Jo Jorgensen campaign, her work as the chair of the Idaho Libertarian Party, in the last, couple of weeks, just outstanding, getting the word out, letting everybody know that the Libertarian Party in Idaho is alive, is well, and is looking forward to active ungovernance in your community. Right? Let freedom ring, folks. Let freedom ring. It's what we're here for, taking over the world to leave you alone. Okay, now we got that out of the way. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is, of course, let's go ahead and run this down. We got garden gnome things. Reason why? It's going to freeze tonight, folks. You already feel the cold air coming in. It's going to be a deep freeze. So everything that we got in our garden pretty much needs to come out tonight if it's going to survive. We got a couple things, some squash thing that may be hardy enough to go ahead and survive, but some of the other things that don't weather so well, the frost, like our tomatoes and our peppers, they're about ready to go. So got to get out to the garden, get that taken care of. Also, if you've been paying attention to the earthquakes, man, what is with that? Let me see if I can actually pull that up for us. So this is one of those things I probably should have. Yep, there we go. USGS. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And what's our key looking like? We want... That's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. Let's go ahead and take a look at the terrain. And let's go ahead and close that. Key, close, settings. We want the settings. Yep, perfect. Okay, and I want to show that. So, for those of you who aren't too familiar, let's go ahead and do a screen share here. And what I want to do is Chrome tab, latest in the earthquakes. Okay, take a look at that. Take a look at that, folks. We've had 4 earthquakes, all in the last 24 hours. This is one day. 3.3 up in Stanley. 3, 2.7. Come on, folks. Things are shaking loose. Yeah, getting all sort of random movements going on up there. So if you're paying attention to earthquake Twitter, yeah, that's the thing. We got earthquake Twitter here in Idaho now. You know, these 3-point earthquakes have been happening up in Stanley on a pretty regular basis now for the last month. So, you know, fun. And especially when you realize that we just had that 8-point up off of the coast of Alaska. Yeah. Fun times. Okay. So, come on, folks. Talk to me. Tell me what it is you want to talk about tonight. Because I've now covered the basics. Yes. Okay. Legalization of marijuana in the state of Idaho. Yeah. We got a few people that are very, very vocal about not wanting that to happen. Okay. Now, the thing is for about every one person I hear who says it's a bad thing for the state of Idaho, there's 100 license plates sitting in a dispensary parking lot just across the border. You know, you can go ahead, vote. There's 2 candidates out there, my opponents. They don't support legalization. They don't support the deschedulization of marijuana in the state here in the United States. That's their prerogative. Over 70% of Idahoans right now want to see medical marijuana legalized in the state. You know, neither one of the other candidates are interested in seeing that happen. They aren't. They're not going to go in and they're going to say, on day one, let's deschedule marijuana. Let's get it off of the absolute no sale schedule and at least get it down to a Schedule 2. Neither of the other candidates are interested in seeing that happen. You know, Rudy talks a good game about, Medicaid reform, healthcare reform. He doesn't support Medicaid for all, though. And of course, Russ, well, he's going with the GOP party line. It is what it is, folks. I'm the only candidate that's pro-marijuana, pro-guns, pro-healthcare transparency. Yes, healthcare transparency. Tax reform. Yeah. Come on, folks. I know there's some single issue voters out there, and I get it. You know, that one thing. You want that one thing so bad. You're willing to sell your soul to make it happen. Not just your soul, but your neighbor's soul. It's how bad you want it. Single issue. Why don't you run for office? That way you don't have to vote. Single issue. You can apply your conscience. To everything else. It's a thought, folks. Come on. Yeah, it's too late to run for office in 2020. You pretty much needed your name on the list back in March if you were going to stand half a chance. Too late to run for U.S. Congress, too late to run for U.S. Senate, at least this year. All those seats come up again in 2 years. Senator Mike Crapo, his seat comes up in 2 years. The seat I'm running for, Mike Simpson's seat, it'll come up again in 2 years. Every one of the state legislatures, state Senate seats, they'll all come up again in 2 years. You know what's happening in 2021? City councils. There you go. City councils. Yeah, go ahead. Run for Boise City Council. Run for Eagle City Council. We already got a libertarian who's going to run for the Eagle City Council. Run for office, folks. Come on. Get out there. That way you don't have to vote for the candidate on a single issue. You won't. You can be pro-choice and pro-gun. But you got to run. You can be pro-marijuana and pro-gun, but you got to run. Run for office, folks. Doesn't matter. Start small. 2 years ago, I ran for state senate. Did pretty good, too, for a three-way race. For a three-way race in the state of Idaho as a libertarian candidate, I polled 5.4% of the vote. Right? Right. Progressives, not developers. It's one of the problem. Eagle, Kuna, Meridian, Boise. Okay. Every one of them, those city councils are loaded up with developers and friends of developers. Developers paid for those city council members to get into those seats. Thank God we got Jimmy. Jimmy's a little naive about a few things, but at least his heart's in the right place, which is more than can be said for some of the other people who were sitting on the Boise City Council. Lisa Sanchez is trying. I disagree with her on a couple issues, but she's trying. It's better than just going in, sitting down in the seat and say, yeah, developers, go do what you want. Yeah, you want to take a plot of land and buy it from CCDC and put some, $1,500 a month apartments on it? Please do it. Yeah. Developers, we got the same problem out in Eagle. So much crap as I like to talk about Mayor Beater. Mayor Beater actually did a fairly good job of retaining, the hills. He managed to keep most of the Boise development out of the city hills. Now, of course, partially he's obligated to, because a lot of that property up there in the Boise foothills is actually land trust property. Okay, it was gifted to the city for a very specific purpose. Now, how long it remains for that purpose as a gift is usually dependent on the integrity of the city council and the city mayor. And whether or not there's a watchdog organization that's willing to sue them the second they step outside of the terms of the gift, which seems to be a bit of a problem, considering most of those organizations that used to be watchdog organizations for things like that, developers have moved in and become the board of directors for those nonprofit organizations that were supposed to sue the city if they violated the trust and the gift. Yeah, funny how that works. But yeah, they come in $1,500 a month and they call it affordable housing. Thing is every property that's been built in the Treasure Valley, and this is all across the Treasure Valley, from the foothills in the east, Micron Technology out there, the little community that sprung up around that, all the way out to other side of Caldwell. Developers have come in and actually set up and said $1,500 a month as affordable housing. Every developer, like all four of them who managed to secure through hook and crook building rights in the Treasure Valley, with the different cities. Yes, it's a protection racket, folks. It is. It's mercantilism. The developers with the rights to build in the Treasure Valley have bought the respective city halls, which is why you can only buy from about 4 or 5 developers in the city. You can't actually go in and hire your own crew to build a house on a plot. Funny how that works. You know, not exactly what I'd call a libertarian approach to growth here in the valley. You know, the thing is those 4, they got the permission to build, and they build just about any way they want. But they're the only ones allowed to build any way they want. Yeah, that's not the way a libertarian city council should run, folks. You know, somebody wants to buy a plot of land, they should be able to buy a plot of land. And if they want to build a house on it, they should be able to build a house on it. They shouldn't have to deal with a contractor for a developer, you know, and go through the list of rebuilds and say, this is the model of house I want. Yeah. Be a little more flexibility in that. That flexibility's disappeared over the last 40 years. Yep, Jason. Ronnie Republicans. Because we've had this conversation, right? You go left to Biden, you'll eventually get to Ronnie. Yeah, you go left to Biden, you'll finally get to Ronnie. Way left of Biden. You know, way left of Donnie. You'll eventually get to Ronnie. But yeah. Run, folks. Run for office. Jason, I understand why you don't want to. Ty, I understand why she doesn't want to. She'd kill people. She would. She really would. You know, I understand why some people don't run. They're high energy. They don't suffer fools. And they know they would kill people if they actually ran for office. You know, even relatively mellow individuals like yours truly has even contemplated it a few times. But no, we need to stay civil, folks. Civility. There's a watchword for the tyrant. You need to remain civil while I screw you. Otherwise, I'm going to call you crazy. I'm going to gaslight you. I'm going to gaslight your base. Yeah. Someday, right? Yeah, start moving things in that direction. I agree. You know, there is an argument for running more palatable individuals, you know, people who start the progress in the right direction, building an inertia in the right direction. We do want to do that. You know, and it's one of those things. It's one of the reasons why yours truly hasn't run with the Republicans or the Democrat, is because we need to build an inertia. And right now, both the R's and the D's on the national level have an institutional inertia. Yes, they do. They have an institutional inertia that, you know, not even Sisyphus is ready for that particular task. You know, we got a few people who try every year. You step in and say, you know, hey, you know, we're going to reform the Republican Party, or we're going to reform the Democratic Party. You know, we're going to reform it. 4 years later, they're still beating their heads against a brick wall. You know, you beat your head against a wall long enough, you get smart, right? Ooh, we got a few people that are ready, Jason. We got a few. The Progressive Rockefeller Republican Liberal. Now, I'm assuming you're actually talking second or third generation Rockefeller, because if you're talking original Rockefeller, he was capitalist to the core, man. Capitalist to the core. His grandkids, though, some of them are pretty liberal. But yeah, some of the things that the Rockefeller Institution did, of course, they pioneered the whole foundation thing, didn't they? Rockefellers had the first major philanthropic foundation, and now you got the Bill Gates Foundation, the Jimmy Buffett Foundation, and the Clinton Foundation, and all the rest of those foundations. Yeah. I'm hoping the board of the Rockefeller Foundation is a little bit more legitimate than the board of any of the rest of those, because they've all been doing some really screwy stuff lately. Matter of fact, the socialism dressing. That's one of those things. Some of us that are right there in the middle. Social markets. I believe that's the term that's used for them. The social markets, socialist markets, market socialism. It's that area where you create rules about how the markets work. That's a little bit Keynesian. It's what FDR built. Yeah, FDR, 1930, his slow rebuild from the Great Depression, using the Keynesian markets, the Tennessee Valley Authority, the TVA was very Keynesian. It's one of those things. Keynes. I know his name's pronounced Keynes. Why do I keep saying Keynesian when I talk about his economic philosophies? Okay. Now, the thing is Keynes was not a free market capitalist. He wasn't. He was a state capitalist. Central Planning Committee. Yep. Central Planning Committee, 100%. You actually go back and you take a look at what the Tennessee Valley Authority did. It did some amazing things. The reason why is because it provided power to the Appalachians. There were an awful lot of people who didn't have electricity, didn't have an electric washing machine, didn't have an electric refrigerator. Tennessee Valley Authority changed all that. Yeah, it did. 1945, Tennessee Valley Authority. About how long the TVA lasted before the capitalists came in and said, nope, that's a government monopoly. You're interfering with our private capitalist operations. Break up the TVA. No, that lasted about 10 years. Go build a right? Right? You want to go build a commune with some like-minded anarchists? Go for it. Absolutely. Everybody should be able to do that. Right now, there's a family in Georgia, Freedom, Georgia. They just bought 90 acres in order to set up their own community. Just like that. Now, I don't know about state giving you the land, but I mean, if you can buy the land, if you can scrounge it up, got a couple good communes going down in Arizona. Adam Kokesh just set up he's got some acreage down there. If you're interested in moving in with an anarchist of the Kokesh mindset, but Freedom, Georgia, they got one. You got a couple in Hawaii. A couple in Southern California. Of course, the nice thing about Southern California is it's nice and temperate down there. You got good weather all year round. Good growing season. So literally, there's not a lot of harshness to the commune. You can set up a decent commune, Waco. Waco was a commune. Yeah. Ruby Ridge, think he had a few guests up there that sort of move in every so often. Those were communes. The Freeman up in Montana. It's another commune. Of course, the trick is it's got to be like-minded. It's got to be volunteers, right? It's got to be volunteers. Can't have everybody drinking the Kool-Aid like they did in Jonestown, right? I mean, one of the other things, Jason, we were talking about it the other day, right? The land back movement. Okay, we actually had some trouble with this summer. The Rainbow family. Remember that incident, Jason? The Rainbow family. And we had COVID come up. Like half the Rainbow family, whatever they want to call themselves, a Rainbow Clan. Yeah. But dude, half of them, hardcore. Hardcore colonizer. Yep. Rainbow, whatever you want to call yourselves. Dude, the people with heritage for that land asked you not to come. The community that maintains that land after you trash it asked you not to come. You were warned that particular plot of land you decided to inhabit this last summer wasn't able to sustain even the people who showed up. Man. Friggin' hippie colonizers. Talk about a screwed up dichotomy. How do you justify peace and love when you completely disregard the communities that require that land to survive on a year-round basis? Dude, you just blew any respect I had for the Rainbow community. Tanked it. Totally. You colonizers. No ifs, ands, or buts. Yep. Faux self-sustainers. Yeah, they aren't self-sustainers, are they? You move into an area, trash it, and then move on. Somebody else has to go in and rehabilitate it after they're done with it. It's not self-sustainment. Running around trashing microbiomes, microenvironments, somebody else has to fix after you leave. Jesus. Come on, man. Rainbow. Yeah. There's two wolves inside of you. Sorry about the transporter mishap. Which wolf is stronger? It's the one you feed, man. It's the one you feed. You feed the love, do you feed the hate? Yeah. Dude, you still got to be responsible. Right? You got to be responsible. Even if you feed the wolf that loves, you still got to do it with responsibility. It's a cute saying. Pretty sure it was a white man who came up with it, though, right? Uh, right. Trying to fill that hole in their colonizer soul by stealing from every other culture that still has a connection. Okay, I'm going to get a little preachy here. I'm going to get a little preachy. Christian supremacy. Yeah, I'm going to rattle on about that for a little bit. Used to be we talked about white supremacy. You know, manifest destiny, the white people coming across, the Eurocentrism, and manifest destiny. Well, it's morphed, folks. Reason why is because the white nationalists realized even the closest allies don't appreciate that one drop mentality. Funny thing is, everybody who used to attend the Aryan Nations rallies, the white supremacy rallies, they show up at any one of these Christian supremacy rallies, they hear the exact same rhetoric. May not be about the color of your skin, may not be about where you were born, but it's definitely about who your sky daddy is. There's a reason our founding fathers put the separation of state and church into our founding documents. Yeah, no state shall make a law regarding, religious faith and belief. Reason why is because there was a different form of Catholicism or Christianity practiced in nearly every colony that originated in the 13. Every colony, Thomas Jefferson was a friggin' deist. George Washington was a Christian. The Quakers, they had a completely different Protestant version of the faith at the time. There was a reason there was a separation of church and state because of the Church of England and the Holy Roman Empire, the Catholic Church. America was not founded to be a Christian nation. America was founded with the intent of being able to welcome all people of all religions. And we welcomed them all. Early adopters of Islam came in. Jewish immigrants, Hebrew immigrants, Russian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox. We've seen a resurgence of neo-paganism, neo-shamanism here in the United States. You believe in the New Testament, there is no competition between them. Jesus appreciated the Gentiles. As long as they minded their own business, he minded his. 2000 BC, you had the Silk Road running from one end of Asia clear to, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. Confucianism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, the Greco-Roman religions, all of the pagan religions, the Norse religions, all of them clear up into Gaul. By 1776, yeah. Come on, folks. Christian supremacy. It doesn't do good for the land. It doesn't do good for the people. It doesn't do good for the community. It creates a bias. It separates us from the land. If you're worshiping the Sky Daddy, You're not paying attention to Mother Earth and the way she nurtures us. Sky Daddy don't feed you. Nuh-uh. Mother Earth feeds you. Mother Earth provides the bounty. Doesn't matter what you call her. You know, the spirit of the earth is what feeds us. Ask any farmer. Sky God may bring the rain, but without the earth, you don't get anything. You'd ask any 90-year-old who had to grow up with with what happened to America in the 1930 Dust Bowl. You need to cut it out. There's an awful lot of love thy neighbor out there. A lot of love thy neighbor out there that really knows how to feed that second wolf. You piss on him because you didn't take the words of Jesus Christ to heart. There's room for all of us here, folks. Don't start getting this high and mighty. Okay. Thank you, Jason, for your participation today. Love it whenever you stop by. Gives me a little bit of focus, a little something special to talk about from time to time. It's good stuff. I think once people stop bending over backwards, working for their overlords, start seeing a little bit more progressive. 40 years ago, this was a progressive state. We had Andrus. We had church. 40 years ago is a progressive state. We can get back to that, man. We can. We just got to unjack this economy. Thanks. Remember, run for office, folks. In the meantime, like, share, comment. Tell the world about me. Tell the world about you. Run for office. Family, friends, community. As long as you got those three things, you can get elected. Love you. Peace out.